Part 2 of Fritz. Here we go. Wait, let's all my sound up. Okay.
Right. Fritz time. Soon. I give it like 3 text boxes before
There we go.
burps.
And that's all I have to report on the incident, Your Majesty.
Fritz bows to my father before joining the knights gathered at the edge of the room. Jurian stands with them, watching everything with a stony expression.
And it's already fucked up.
See, called it. Anyway. Lady Jurian, is Lord Fitzgerald's testimony satisfactory?
Yes, Your Majesty.
And your opinion, Lucette?
I agree with Jurian, Your Majesty.
Talking about?
I don't remember.
Oh, the kidnapping. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, you weren't here for it. Yeah, Lucette got kidnapped last week for all of like 10 minutes. What? What are you partying about? Come here.
This morning, my father ordered Fritz and the knights that were with me during the kidnapping to provide a testimony as to what happened. Kidnappers have been awaiting their sentence in jail the past few weeks. Today is the day they receive their punishment. I heard that from Jurian that the trial has already been suspended multiple times on the account of heated discussions between the king and the councillors. The case was of a special interest to them because the criminals were witches. This technically, along with the king's own busy schedule, has forced us to postpone the trial. Father motions to the guards from the doors. It's a silent command to bring the criminals inside. The kidnappers are silent as they enter the room and kneel in front of the throne.
You know the reason you have been brought here. You've been charged with the crime of kidnapping the crown princess. To this crime, you have both pleaded guilty.
I glance between the man and the woman. The defiance I saw on their faces the day they stole me away is gone, replaced with resignation. These people kidnapped and threatened me. They blamed me for the divided between the witches and the humans, and for the loss of magic.
Set?
My father is speaking to me in a low voice. I turn to him, startled. Yes, Your Majesty?
This crime was committed against you. Are you set to take my... As you are set to take my place, I would have you decide their punishment.
I turn back to the kneeling criminals. The woman seems to quiver in her shackles, and the man is looking up at me with eyes that glimmer with unshed tears. 2 years ago, Mother would have punished them with death. She would have insisted lenience was weakness. But these people do not deserve death. As if reading my thoughts, Father continues on a different tangent.
According to the law, your kidnapping would be tried as a first-degree crime because you were unharmed. The typical punishment is 30 years prison time, though you can certainly argue for longer.
I shake my head. No, I'm unharmed. There's no need to press any further charges.
In that case, I will allow you to decide if the sentence is ample.
I think we should half the sentence, because 30 years sounds a bit dramatic.
A bit?
Yeah, have it.
A bit?
Also, hello Connor, and welcome. Don't worry about being late, we're late as well.
Yeah.
Half the sentence.
Sorry.
You would have them serve only 15 years.
These people are still young. They may have friends and family that they are supporting. Anything longer would only give the witches more reason to hate us.
Would have just let him out.
And now as I turn back to the 2 ex-witches. I would have just given them less than that.
That would arguably be worse.
I'm being magnanimous. by having your sentences, but that does not mean I have forgiven your crime. Remember this, all crimes are judged fairly, no matter who the perpetrator is. The woman stares at me in shock. The man bows his head.
1,000 blessings upon you, Your Highness. I don't remember the voice I gave this man.
Whatever.
It was like in New York or Boston or
He
something.
doesn't even have. He's not important.
The woman follows his example. Both are still shaken and start taken from the room. Oh wow, the woman didn't even get to talk this time.
Nope.
Hopefully this will help ease some of the tension in the kingdom. I glanced at Father, who's not said a single word since I declared my sentence. Then I looked at Fritz, curious about his reaction, and am surprised when I see the fierce frown on his face. Father clears his throat.
No, I feel as if the divide these kidnappers mentioned should be addressed.
I've already given many speeches in an effort to bring the citizens of Angel together. Now I realize that words are not enough. Action is necessary. When I suggest this to my father, he asks what I would recommend. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure yet. Yet I know that the words are not enough. They will not bridge this so-called divide. I would like to gather information first, then I'll speak about what happened here today, and I press my hand to my forehead and sigh. I'll find some ways to resolve this problem.
Set. Remember that this is not your problem alone to solve.
I look again at Fritz, and startle when I see the frown on his face. His eyes are trained on the wall. Why does he look so irritated? Even Jurian is staring at him with a quizzical look on her face, but Fritz does not so much as spare her a glance. He looks as if he closed himself off from the world.
Lucette?
I turn back to my father with a half-hearted smile. Yes, I know. Thank you, Father.
Fitzgerald.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Fritz's expression is stony. He still refuses to meet my eyes. He must have his reasons, or now I'll give him space.
Speak with you on that one matter I mentioned before.
Ah, my favorite. That one matter.
What is this about?
Lord Fitzgerald and I had something we wanted to discuss in private.
I glance curiously between my father and Fritz, but neither reveals the topic of their conversation. Is this something else Fritz doesn't want to tell me? I brush my worry away with a nod, then swiftly turn and head out the dining hall.
We were in the throne room? Okay.
Yes. Oh.
That was the backdrop we had.
Yeah.
And they kneeled at the throne.
Well, I decided to head to town with 3 night escorts. I resolved to be productive in my time off and look for people who can help me decide what to do about the divide between witches and humans. Specifically, I look for Waltz. Before I would have gone to the Marchen to look for him, but now, with the tavern closed, that is impossible. Oh, I learned today what the word Marchen means. Not today, some other time I just happened to cross it. And there's actually meaning behind the name. It literally means fairy tale in German, like something along the lines of fairy tale. And I was like, oh, neat. When Delorme Parfait passed away, there was no one left to watch over the Marchen. Waltz and the other boarders have since moved out. Waltz now lives in the outskirts of Angel, but I'm certain that he comes to town around this time to perform. There's no doubt in my mind that Waltz will be able to tell me more about the recent treatment of the witches. I searched the whole town square for Waltz, but he's nowhere to be found. Usually he's in this area performing a play with the children. Yet there is no sign of him here today. I continue to look for Waltz over the next hour, occasionally stopping to speak to the other townsfolk to ask if there have been any disturbances in the area. Most seem confused by the question. Was that? What? Bleh. Was what the witches were saying not true after all? I'm still searching when someone calls my name, pulling me from my thoughts. Princess, Princess Suzette. Turn my heels and see a familiar man striding towards me with a bright smile on his face. A young woman walks beside him, smiling nervously.
Oh.
I can never forget Chevalier and Anis's faces.
Oh,
Hey! Now Abby gets lines when she's
my
here. Look at that.
boy. Long time no see, Princess. I am grateful to Lady Luck for giving me the opportunity to see you today. My boy.
Anis raises her head and smiles.
God damn it.
It's good to see you again, Your Highness.
So I told you they were a thing in other storylines.
We never doubted it. At least I didn't. Likewise.
I don't think anyone doubted that.
How's work at the clinic? 2 years ago, when the fairy tale curses were broken, Chevalier regained his memories and returned to work as a doctor. Anis has always been interested in learning more about medicine and decided to stay with him as an assistant.
Assistant?
It's been months since I've seen either of them. Chevalier glances at Anis, a mischievous smile on his face. Anis looks away, flustered.
Oh no.
Did you tell the princess the good news, Anis?
Anis fiddles her thumbs, her expression turning sheepish.
Well, we've decided to open up a pharmacy in the clinic space.
A pharmacy?
Anis's specialty has always been herbs and antidotes. We've decided that opening a pharmacy is the best way to showcase her talents. Love this man.
Rather than just a clinic, we'll also have a pharmacy set up so the townsfolk can purchase natural remedies. It should be less expensive than the medicine most apothecaries sell.
That sounds like a great idea.
Doesn't it? Anis will do just splendidly. I love him so much.
I hope so.
Chevalier looks at her and raises an eyebrow.
You should tell her about that other thing too, Anis.
Much to my surprise, Anis flushes.
It's not, really important.
Nonsense. Being in love is always important. Apparently, I might be wrong.
A stare between the two of them as Anis hides her face in her hands. What's this about love?
Anis met a very striking young man a few weeks back. He came to my clinic to ask for my advice, you see. In the end, he spoke with Anis for hours on end about various herbs.
I'm disappointed.
Damn.
Anis sighs as she removes her hands from her face.
He happened to be the son of a visiting apothecary. He was a pleasant man.
You don't have to be so shy in front of the princess, Anis. Tell her about how much you liked his smile, or about how nice he was when he treated you to dinner.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Here's where we found out it's actually Chevalier she's been talking about. And he's just
Chevalier!
been hyping himself.
That would actually be really funny.
It would be hilarious.
Can't help but smile at Anis's embarrassment. Anis always did so much while I was back when the march room was open. She deserves to be spoiled as well. Happy for you, Anis.
Thank you, Your Highness.
I pause to consider as Anis and Chevalier once again exchange looks. She turns away with a sigh when Chevalier winks at her. I wonder if maybe Chevalier can tell me about the witches. Chevalier, have you seen any witches in your clinic recently? The good mood fades abruptly.
Ah, there it is.
I have. Many of them show up at my door saying they've been refused treatment at other clinics.
Well, that sucks.
One woman, who was so sickly she was on the verge of collapse, told me that she'd been run out of some other places because someone was certain they'd seen her cast a fairy tale curse before.
There was also another witch, a man who had burns on him. He came asking for some kind of ointment.
Burns. Chevalier nods.
It was a revenge crime. A man came into his potion shop and knocked everything he owned to the ground, causing an explosion.
There goes his irreplaceable potions, too. But why?
According to the witch, the man said something about magic no longer having any place in Angiel.
The more Chevalier speaks about the incidents, the more my stomach churns. Now, these crimes are mentioned by the counselors, but no one mentioned specifically that they had been done against witches. I cannot excuse this discrimination.
I'm sorry, Princess.
Sorry? Oh, sorry, I'm yawning a lot. He smiles at me sadly.
We didn't mean to add to your stress.
You don't need to apologize. I came seeking this information because I want to help. Perhaps I can discuss some sort of safety measures with Jurian? Or maybe I should address these crimes in front of all the townsfolk.
Humans are sad creatures, aren't they? They fear things they don't understand and choose to despise them, rather than open their minds. But still,
He smiles.
I've had various volunteers come in to help me tend the witches. Just as there is cruelty in this world, there is also great goodness. It just so happens that violence always speaks the loudest.
I have no choice but to speak louder than that violence. I know that both of them. Thank you both for your help.
Of course. We're glad that we could help, Princess.
It's always a pleasure. If you ever need anything, you are more than welcome at the clinic. Rest assured, I will always make time for you.
I'll try my best to visit when I can. My talk with Chevalier has answered many of my questions, and I am relieved for it. It seems I don't need to watch for Waltz after all.
I'm right. Who needs the cannon route?
Shortly after the two excused themselves, I head back to the palace with my guard
We haven't done the cannon route yet. It could
with my
be better
guard
than
reformed
this.
around me. No sooner have I arrived than I am met by another familiar face. Emmeline is running towards me with a package in her hand. Her smile is exuberant. I had a feeling you'd be back soon, Lisette. Emmeline, you were waiting for me? I was. I wanted to be the one to deliver this to you.
It's a bomb.
Emmeline holds the package out to me. What is this? I take the parcel from her hands and eye it curiously. You wouldn't know until you open it. I raise my eyebrows. Must be important if she came to meet me at the palace gates. I do as Emmeline insists, and am surprised when I behold what is inside. Oh, a mask?
Oh no.
A mask? Emmeline claps her hands together. For the upcoming ball! The upcoming ball is a masquerade? When did this happen?
Oh,
Emmeline seems to notice my confusion. It was Lord Fitzgerald's idea. He brought it up to Mother a few days ago. He said that masks will make things more mysterious. I run my hands over the carefully crafted mask and shake my head in wonder. It's a delicate mask, and I can't help but marvel at the intricacy of its design.
You know who always wore a mask?
Varg.
you know who's gonna show up at that ball?
Varg.
I'm gonna be happy.
Varg. What do you think? It's a lovely idea, isn't it? And also, like, the whole, like, gap and everything. The masquerade probably better anyways, just so, like, there's no discrimination against witches, maybe. If any show up. It is. Interesting.
Dude, I'd see Waltz in a mask.
Yeah. I wonder why Fritz wanted to alter the theme of the celebration. And why he chose masks. Look at the mask makes me remember the masked man from 2 years ago. The man whose cocky smile I could always read beneath his mask. Varg. Fritz. The personalities were like night and day, and yet they're the same person. That is why, even if Varg was somewhat overwhelming, I loved him regardless. How could I not when he was a part of Fritz? Besides, Varg did a great many things for me back then too, whether of his own volition or not. He was still my knight. Except instead of shining armor, he wore a masquerade mask and an ominous-looking cloak. Lucette! Emmeline laughs when I startle. Red was right. I do need to say your name loud enough. I was just appreciating the mask. Did you buy this for me? Emmeline shakes her head. No, it's from Lord Fitzgerald. Fritz bought this mask for me? I cleared my throat and carefully set the mask back in its package. Do you know where Fritz is now, Emmeline? I can't say that I do. Sorry, Lucette. He said that he'd be waiting for us in our usual place, so perhaps he's in my room. The two of us always meet there before we begin our practices. It's no worry. I'll find him on my own. I tucked the package beneath my arm. Thank you for delivering the mask. Oh, it's no problem. I want to be the first to see the wonder on your face. I look at her, suddenly curious. What of your mask? Have you already purchased one? Yes, earlier today. She flushes. I found a special mask from Brigantia and purchased it on the whim. Oh, aren't Brigantia masks especially flamboyant? That doesn't seem your style, unless... I raised an eyebrow. Are you trying to impress someone? Maybe I am. It just so happens that Brigantian royalty will be joining us for the celebration. Prince Lance is attending. Her words fade as she looks at me, embarrassed. It's been less than a few months since the Brigantian nobles came to visit our palace. Claude and his brother Lance have been sent there on so many occasions as emissaries to keep remedy our relations with Brigantia, or help remedy. And that's the way Emmeline looked at Lance even back then. I've always suspected she fancied him. What? I wish you the best of luck, Emmeline. I'm sure you'll capture his heart. I grin as I pass a rosy-cheeked Emmeline.
Turned on that one real quick, didn't it?
The first thing I noticed upon my return is that Fritz is seated beside my window. The minute I step inside, he looks up at me. Just as abruptly, he turns away and stares outside, his expression conflicted. Fritz? I recall the way he acted in the throne room earlier. It seemed almost as if he didn't want to speak with me. I received your mask. I walk over to him and cross my arms. If there is something amiss, please tell me. I cannot fix whatever it is unless you tell me what it is. Does this have something to do with the trial earlier? Suddenly, Fritz's expression is sad, melancholy.
It's not that you did anything wrong, Lucette. Only...
He sighs as he runs a hand through his hair.
I disagreed with your ruling, and now it makes sense.
I thought that was obvious. Why? Was he angered by my leniency?
It's shown up 1,000 years late before.
It's as if he reads my mind. He turns to regard me slowly, his expression mellowing.
Second I turn around. It's not like you could have known. And it's not like my feelings had any bearing on the case. It's only what happened today reminded me so much what happened with my mother.
Your mother? His mother was killed, I believe.
It's a bit of a long story, but suffice to say, the criminal killer was tried. They were given a lenient verdict, a flawed one.
A flawed verdict? Fritz nods, a little absently, before he sighs out again.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insist that my personal feelings should have had any bearing on your decision.
No, please, I want to understand.
I will make sure that you do. But for now, I'm sorry. I should be talking about the masquerade, shouldn't I?
He eyes the mask with a smile.
So Elaine delivered the mask to you. What do you think?
I think it's beautiful and mysterious. Fritz laughs. The sound of it relieves my heart.
You say it like you're not so sure.
It's because I'm not. I've never attended a masquerade before. I step forward and raise my eyebrows at him. I heard from Emmeline that it was you who suggested this. May I ask why?
I am sorry, Lucette. It was for an entirely selfish reason. I wanted to give you a mask, and I wanted to see you wear it. I had a lot of fun designing it for you.
Fritz, you designed this mask?
I did. I wanted to do something special for you. I wanted to put on my old coat. And also...
Thank you for the follow, Greyhawk.
Hey, I know who that is.
Hey.
They said, hey, I know that guy, and it was while you were talking, so I'm guessing they were mentioning your voice.
That's John.
Oh, you mean from your other D&D party?
That's my John.
Hello,
That's my
John.
John.
I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, yeah, John, I remember you talking about him. That was the one you're going to kill next week. Hi, John.
No, you're forgetting the part where we
Bold of you
kidnap
to
him
think that it's
first.
Bold of you to think that it's next week and not in 2 days.
I may or may not have plotted with Willie a few times and suggested that if they ever needed backup to kidnap you, I would help. He leans forward, eyes glinting with mischief.
I thought it's just John and not like the other two, which is funny. In a masquerade, one can show off a completely different part of themselves. It's like a masked performer in a theater show. So just really wanted to put on my old coat. Am I insisting that I want Varg to show up again?
That's
Yes.
exactly what you're going to do. It's going to be hilarious.
He's gonna be Varg, but with white hair instead of black.
Dude, I'm in. I'm about that.
He leans back and laughs.
I thought it would be nice to be someone else for a change.
Someone else.
You'll see. I'll bring up my old cane.
He stands and crosses his arms.
But before we head out for our practice, if you're up for it, I'll tell you about the incident with my mother. Innocent with my mother. And perhaps talking about it will help get it off my mind.
If you're willing to tell the story, then I'm willing to listen. What happened?
I told you before that I lost my mother when I was very young. I was only 3 years old.
That means this
Well-
was before I was even born, before Mother's reign. Put a hand to the pocket where I kept Fritz's knife. His mother's knife. Before, he told me that if she had this knife on that day she was killed, things would have been different.
Have I ever told you that my mother was a teacher, Lucette?
I look at him, wide-eyed. No, you haven't.
She was a language teacher. She was the reason I grew up learning bits of other languages. Even after she died, I read her lesson plans because I thought they would make me feel closer to her.
Couldn't help but recall the word that Fritz taught me before. The one he said was from an ancient language. Adiuva. Did his mother teach him that word? Or did he learn it after she died? Ooh! Thank
Yes.
you, I'm not really sure. I'll just call you F. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that.
I'm gonna take a wild guess, and is it FLXXRY?
RRYY.
Because it hasn't shown up on my screen yet. Yeah, that's Jackson.
Okay.
Hey, buddy. It tells me that Nathan's probably here too.
Did you summon me a small group of people to watch, Willie?
Hey, look, they asked.
Hopefully I'll stream more, so then there's reason for follows. Alright. Your line.
Anyway, I digress. My mother was a language teacher who took on many students. Nobles, commoners, children. Who teach anyone who had the motivation. My father always told me she loved what she did. So she was happy. We all were.
He leans against the wall with a sigh. Despite the sunlight blanketing the room, the air feels dreary, heavy.
she took on a student that would eventually kill her. My father said he was a Brigantian nobleman who wanted to learn the Cinderellan language. Most likely, as it was he had business connections with Beetle.
Doesn't seem like such a strange request. Sidell is a neighboring kingdom after all, and it makes sense he would have connections there.
Anyway, my mother used to visit the man every other day. He paid my mother more than necessary and was a fast-learning student. But one day, word of a scandal began to spread around Angio. Word was the nobleman was involved with some illegal trade with Cinderellan businessmen. My mother could confirm these suspicions. She found proof of the illegal trade deals in the nobleman's own letters. Apparently, the letters had gotten mixed in my mother's lesson plans by accident. They were written in a language only she understood. Shortly after my mother notified the king, the nobleman mysteriously disappeared. The day after, my mother was found murdered in an alley. The knife in her chest was bought that day by a young man no one recognized. Turned out he was a hired killer.
I stare at Fritz in shock. You believe that the nobleman sent a killer after your mother because she spread a rumor about him?
It was the truth, not a rumor. The truth that spoiled his reputation.
Fritz's eyes are stormy, his mouth is set in a tight line. At first I think he's glaring at me, and then I realize he's glaring through me. His anger is reserved for a memory.
Killer was brought to the palace to be tried. He confessed that it was only a hired hand. Nothing came of questioning him about his employer.
Fritz sighs.
The hired killer never had any physical contact with the nobleman who hired him. My father suggested torture as a means of getting information out of the murderer, but the king refused.
Thank you for the follow, Flippin' Candy. I also love that username.
God damn it.
Which one's that one?
That's probably Nathan. The killer was sentenced to a lifetime in prison, but the nobleman who paid him was never found, and so he was never tried in court. Though my father tried to link the nobleman to the murderer, King Gennaro argued that there was no conclusive evidence he had hired the killer. It was all circumstantial evidence.
My father must have investigated further. There's no way he would let such a crime go unpunished.
Yes, the investigation was extended, but nothing conclusive was found. Though my father tried to keep the investigation running, King eventually disbanded the effort, claiming they were only hitting dead ends.
The look on Fritz's face is so mournful that I can't help reaching for his hand. All I want is to anger him in the present, to get him away from his memories. I squeeze his hand and Fritz turns to me with a grimace.
After that, nothing happened for a while. I was too young to understand where my mother had gone. My father became distant, and I distinctly remember him disappearing for long stretches of time. He was gone longer than he had ever been before. I almost always had someone else in the manor with me.
His expression flatlines.
Then one day he came home covered in blood. He told me that justice had been served.
If my webcam was on, y'all would have seen my eyes just go from like normal resting to wide open when I read that.
Oh dear.
I stared
I don't
at him.
think I could have face palmed any harder.
I was just like, oh damn. He killed a nobleman?
I didn't realize it till much later, but yeah. He made him confess, and then he killed the nobleman himself.
Also, thank you for the sub.
Yep. Thank you, Jackson. My father punished the nobleman, where the law had not, and yet
Fritz shakes his head.
I've never felt closure. My father hated the king was... Wow, that is a word.
Lackadaisical.
Oh, okay.
Am I the only one who's never seen that then? What the hell?
Lackadaisical.
Shut up. Father hated that the king was so lackadaisical about the investigation. He believed that the nobleman was pardoned on account of his status. From then on, my father held a grudge against the king. After my mother died, he became stricter, tougher. He began to doubt everyone and everything. He dealt out justice with an iron fist. He didn't hate the king then. He still thought he was a noble. He still believed in the honor of the knights. He didn't become truly incorrigible until after the war, when Hitler was locked in the Tenebrarum. Before that, he was jaded but kind. After Hitler, though, after he saw what ruling with an iron fist could do to keep people in line.
Fritz crosses his arms and groans.
Back then, I always wanted to believe the goodness of people. Now I understand where my father was coming from. Strong walk over the weak.
His shoulders sag.
That's what I realized when my father used me 2 years ago.
His gaze settles on me again, quiet and forlorn.
I believe in fair trials. I believe that people deserve retribution for the crimes they commit. This crime was not murder, but you were stolen, they said. You had a knife to your throat. Sometimes I think about what I would be if I lost you, you said. I wonder, would I come to hate the world just like my father did?
He goes silent as he slumps in his chair. Perhaps the reason Fritz is so impacted by that trial is because he believed I should have been harder on someone who could have taken my life.
Well, there you have it. Story of my mother's death. I'm too young to remember it myself, but I have put the pieces together over the years.
He looks at me expectantly.
What do you think?
What do I think?
About the verdict? Do anything differently from the king? Would you let the nobleman go so easily? Would you have shown some same lenience?
Oh.
Shoot. Frick.
Ah.
I mean,
well,
I want to say
look at
no,
this then.
because there was a murder, but like, if they didn't have enough evidence stacked
If they
up,
can't
though,
link it, they can't link it.
yeah, which would have been yes, because they couldn't link enough. But we don't know what kind of argument Lucett's gonna make.
This is a hard part, because like you can say what you think the answer is, and then she goes off on some wild fucking tangent.
Well, It's usually one that makes sense, but it's not always the right answer. I don't freaking know. If we get this one wrong, it'll only be our second one, unless the other one's like way far from telling us what we got right or wrong. Because remember last week, we got all the answers right so far. Okay, Connor thinks we should say no.
I mean, no is the nice thing to say, obviously, but
Like,
at the same...
I want to say no, but like, if there's not enough evidence, there's not enough evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, Greyhawk says yes. So we're still going back and forth on the seesaw right now.
Yep.
Heck.
Abby, do you have an opinion?
Abby, please have an opinion.
I don't know.
Okay. First comes to roast,
Okay.
I could flip a coin or something.
Okay, we got...
It's
Okay,
very true.
okay.
It's not like
It's
I don't
okay,
have
we-
50 dice sets or something.
I'm gonna say.
Abby, what
Roll
would you...
for it.
Abby, what would your character say? Wait, no shit, that's the mom. She would just obliterate them. Never mind.
That's very true.
I thought we were talking about Laura. I was expecting you to say, oh wait, no, she's dead.
Most...
I wasn't gonna go there.
No opinions for me. I'm dead.
I can't...
God damn it, Abby.
Great, you just gave her a free out. God
Wait,
damn.
no, Anise is
I was gonna
Anise
say,
is
we
alive.
just spoke to Anise like
When
5
does Anise
minutes
ever
ago.
have a real opinion? I love Anise, but she's not.
She's alive. She's alive. Therefore, you can't use that excuse.
That's very true. It's okay. We also
Okay,
know we're
from
all
the
disappointed
viewers right now, no is outweighing yes.
in me. Well, there you go.
So if
I
we
gotta
can't
s-
make up our minds, we might as well go with the audience because we can't make it. Okay, now Flippin'
I-
Candy says yes. God damn it, guys.
I gotta say yes. It's just, it doesn't... I want to be nice to him,
And-
but if it doesn't fit, it didn't fit.
I'm kind of leaning towards no, but it's like, but then again, even though I'm still leaning towards that.
I bring in 3 idiots to help make these decisions, and
Okay.
they have the 3 of them have managed to make the chat evenly divided. How dare you?
Oh wait, I have a fun way to make an interactive. Connor, you just reminded me I can actually make a survey. I need to I need to remember how the hell I do that.
I say yes.
You're thinking yes. Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Here's a poll.
I can't. If they don't have the evidence, they don't have the evidence. I hate to say it, but it's the logic makes too much sense and it sucks.
I'm just gonna make a poll so someone has a button to hit. We've been making it. Alright, it's 50-50 there. Willie, which one are you? Oh, yes is winning there. Willie, which one are you saying?
I hope I'd fix it. I didn't. I have to agree. I gotta say yes.
Okay, even with my no, because I was kind of leaning that way, yes does win. So we're gonna go with that. I can tell by the way his expression falls that my answer takes him by surprise.
Yep.
As much as I want to say no, oh, just like me, I also know that there is a reason the court has specific procedures for doing things. I think the same logic applies to other criminals too. Even if we have suspicions, we can't act on things that have not been proven. We can only judge what we see and what we witness, not what we assume. Alcaster ought to have brought the nobleman's confession to court and meted out justice that way. No matter the feelings he had for the king, I cannot read tonight. I try to measure Fritz's reaction, but he only looks thoughtful. I'm sorry, Fritz.
No, don't be.
He smiles at me gently.
Above all else, I believe it's most important for the trial to be fair. You're far more knowledgeable, too, when it comes to things like this. Besides, it makes sense for a ruler to look at things objectively. Hearing your rationale gives me hope that justice is still feasible within the boundaries of all these rules.
Thank you for the gifted sub. He shakes his head, the soft smile never leaving his face.
I was scared to go find out what that fucking chat is right now.
It's just a bunch of yeses and nos.
No, not the Twitch chat, different one.
Oh, the different chat. Okay.
No, I've been tabbing between Twitch and Discord.
Anyways, it's your line.
I know.
Read that and then do your other stuff.
What's in the past stays in the past, I think. Hearing your opinion makes me feel a little better. It's funny. My intention was to tell you more about my mother, but in the end, I learned something about myself, too. You really are a wonder, Lisa.
Oh, that was the right answer. Nice. Nice call, chat.
Hooray!
Alright. Fritz pulls me to my feet and kisses my forehead, and abruptly pulls me into a hug. Fritz?
Thank you, Lucette, for hearing me out.
I rest my hand on his shoulder. You never need to thank me, Fritz. I just want you to be open with me. I pull away so that I can plant a quick kiss on his lips. Now, shall we continue this conversation during our lesson? Fritz smiles at me. He places a hand on my back as we walk towards the door.
Yeah, let's.
We exit the stifling room and walk out to the breezy corridor. The rest of the week pauses by in the blur of meetings, classes, and practices. When I'm not busy practicing with Fritz in the forest, he takes me to town. There are two of us searching for evidence of discrimination against the witches. Ever since I spoke with Chevalier, I've been unable to rest. Fritz has agreed to help me gather information, and unsurprisingly, he's able to compile more evidence than me. He may no longer be a knight, but he's still incredibly good at work that requires subtlety or stealth. By the end of the week, the two of us have compiled. By the end of the week, the two of us have compiled a long list to present to the counselors upon our next meeting. I think it's more like he's rogue and picked up some fighter later. I'm grateful that the week has come to a close until I realize, belatedly, that the masquerade my family has been preparing for is tonight. Fritz makes me promise that I will attend before departing to discuss some important matter with my father. The time for the masquerade comes sooner rather than later. It's not long before darkness cloaks the hallways and the guests begin to pile in. I exit my room and make my way to the throne room. The mask on my face feels heavy, even though it's perfectly suited to my face. No one has seen me wearing it yet, not even Emmeline. Oh, she looks cute! Hope this doesn't look too ostentatious. I put a hand on one of the dress's inner pockets. Tucked inside is Fritz's knife. It's a strange, good luck charm, but it makes me feel more confident as I walk into the throne room.
The best good luck charm.
The first thing
I
notice...
have only the best good luck charm. A knife.
Stab! Alright. The best thing I noticed upon entering the throne room is that everyone is masked. Most of the women are wearing beautifully designed gowns that shimmer in the dark colors of the nighttime. Men don black coats and vests, and wear bright smiles that offset their dark masks. Some of the ladies smile and laugh behind feathered fans. I take in the sight, wondering at the atmosphere of mystique. I'm startled when the announcer beside the door appears, and, with a bow, calls my full title and name to the gathered crowd. I search the faces of everyone gathered, but the guests' expressions are hidden by their fans. My heart tightens at the sight. Why am I so nervous? I begin to make my way down the stairs, offering words of greeting to all those who approach me. I cannot help noticing the nobles are more brazen on this night. Ladies teeter and grin behind their fans, and more than a few men wink at me. I like the background music. Yeah, comment, Willie?
That was it.
Okay. It's like there are different people. I'm still meandering through the crowd and searching for familiar faces when I notice a man in attire similar to Fritz's. Fritz? The man turns, but it's not Fritz, only some masked nobleman. I quell the disappointment inside me and turn around and begin my search anew. Pretty sure it's you.
This is it.
Looking for someone, princess? Please, please.
I nearly stumble right into the man behind me and have to take
It's
a few
either that or
steps
it's
back.
karma.
Yeah. Take a few steps back to put some distance between us.
I'll
Need a
make that
drink.
karma's price. Hell yeah.
I need a drink deeply really quick.
Oh no, we have a karma, don't worry.
That's very true.
Somebody needs something to do.
That is also true.
I look up and freeze when I see his mask.
Nope, there it is. Yeah.
Yay!
Hey.
Both his eyes and his mask are so familiar I can't help but be shocked. His face, complete with a cocky grin, gives me a strange sense of deja vu. I can't speak, only stare at him dumbfounded.
How did she not see this coming?
Right?
Um,
Maybe she thought his clothes are magically conjured?
because she big dumb. It's been a while.
Well, she's also kind of a sheltered child, so...
No, he's
Yeah,
doing
that too.
he's doing the thing too. That's just weird.
The look on his face in the mask. It's Varg's face. But no, it can't be. Varg doesn't exist anymore, not as his own person.
It's almost like I pulled out my cane for just this reason.
It was only it's only been a few hours. Fritz's eyes twinkle with mirth.
Sarcastic as always, I see.
Connor, you need to catch up on the old videos on YouTube. I'll hook you up later. Or you can hook yourself up by clicking the link below somewhere. He takes a step forward.
I'll have you know that I had planned on going by a different name tonight.
Oh?
Tonight, you may call me Varg.
I stare at him, impulsed. Oh, you should wait till you see what he looked like when he was cursed, because his hair turned black when he had this outfit with the mask on.
Did I pull out my duck cane for just a scene like this? Absolutely.
I assumed
I'm so
you did.
proud.
Duck cane. But yeah, if you guys, this is a
this-
sequel to a game we played, or replayed in my case, and voiced. It's Cinderella Phenomenon. There should be a link to my YouTube somewhere in my other links. And there's a whole playlist for that game. And then there's a whole playlist in progress for this game right now. We're on the second to last storyline for this game.
Go meet the broom. The broom is the best character.
He even has the same cloak.
Oh shit.
He doesn't have the vest though, but he has the same cloak.
I'm okay with this.
He's beautiful.
He holds out his hand. The grin never leaves his face.
I could probably pull off a look like that.
I can make you the cloak if you want.
I'll keep you posted.
I love making cloaks, not gonna lie.
What do you say? Just one dance, princess. Come on, I don't bite. Much.
I look at Fritz quizzically. What does he hope to accomplish with this changing character? He
Nothing.
always looks so pained when he remembers the things he did as Varg. So, why?
What? Cat got your tongue?
I say we play along.
That's not
Play
even-
along. It's a masquerade. It's like the whole point.
Play,
Yeah.
That's the whole freaking point. Play along. Duh. Hell yeah, play along.
Play along.
Put my duck cane away. He doesn't have his cane on him.
Wah.
We're gonna go play along, but I want to see what the chat says because I'm curious. I'm gonna make a poll for you guys.
I will not vote on this one this time.
Yeah.
No
I did
one.
last time.
Listen. Listen, I
No.
love chat. They're great people. Play along. Especially,
Scold the
yeah,
soul.
I'm just gonna call. Well, I was gonna say especially Flurry, and I was gonna call him Flurry as a pet name because he mentioned Persona 5, and then he disagreed with me. So no, play along.
You're gonna play along.
Sear the soul, you. Never mind.
No,
Burn the body.
Willie,
Sear
kill
the
that.
soul.
Willie, kill that one first for disagreeing with us.
Willie's the player, not
that
the
can
DM.
happen.
Oh,
I am playing a grumpy Frenchman.
I would trust Joker from Persona 5, but if we're talking about the one from Batman, no. Persona 5, yes. Alright.
yeah, that's what we were talking about. Best Joker.
Yeah. The only Joker I care about, if we're being honest. Alright.
Oh.
What? No wolf
What?
puns?
No Mass Effect?
Shh. What? No wolf puns? You've lost your touch. I haven't played Mass Effect, you fool.
I wasn't asking you. Oh.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
He takes a step towards me, and though I cannot read his eyebrows, it's impossible to miss the smirk on his lips.
Maybe a bit out of practice, but I think I'm better than wordplay than a certain dumbstruck princess.
The difference between us is that I know how to speak without demeaning a person. I expect more flamboyance from you. Varg. Fritz shrugs.
Sorry to disappoint, princess, but next time I'll make sure to dress in bright, gaudy colors just for you.
He presses a kiss to the back of my hand. Then, much to my surprise, he pulls me towards him with a grin.
Shall we dance? You can dance if you want to.
Chapter 5.
That's it? Really?
The sass